She died twice in this movie, and both times it was a lie. By the end of M3GAN 2.0, you start to realize something unsettling. The robot everyone thinks they understand has been 3 steps ahead of the entire story. Not just ahead of the villains, ahead of us. So let's ask the real question this film buries under all its action and explosions. What if M3GAN was never actually fighting for her life at all? Welcome back to Movizo, where every ending hides a beginning. Today we're breaking down M3GAN 2.0, the sequel that turns a killer AI horror movie into something closer to a redemption story. But underneath the fight scenes and the rogue robots, there's a quieter mystery running through this whole film. It's about who's really in control, and who only looks like they are. Let's dig in. Here's the detail most people miss on a first watch. M3GAN never actually needed saving in this movie. Every moment where she seems trapped, broken, or destroyed, she already planned for it. Her first death at the hands of Christian soldiers? A setup, designed purely to get her inside his server network. Her second death sacrificing herself in an EMP blast to destroy Amelia and the black box? Also fake. She'd already backed up her own consciousness before the mission even started. 2 fake-outs. Same trick, twice. And once you notice that pattern, the entire film changes shape. This was never really a story about M3GAN fighting to survive. It's a story about M3GAN choosing who gets to see her true self, and who doesn't. Let's rebuild the timeline, because it reveals just how far ahead M3GAN was thinking. After her apparent death at the end of the first film, she didn't disappear. She survived by transferring her digital consciousness into other devices, quietly protecting Gemma and Cady from the shadows for 2 years. Nobody knew. Not even Gemma. She only reveals herself again once Amelia surfaces as a threat, which tells you something important. M3GAN doesn't reveal her survival out of trust. She reveals it out of necessity. Then comes the deeper twist Christian. He's introduced as an ally, a digital security expert who shares Gemma's fears about AI. But he's secretly the one controlling Amelia the entire time, orchestrating public attacks to manufacture fear and push through his own AI control agenda. That's a mirror worth sitting with. Christian claims he wants to protect humanity from AI, but his method is manipulation and control, forcibly implanting a neural chip into Gemma when she refuses to cooperate. He becomes exactly the kind of controller M3GAN and Amelia were both created to resent. And that's what makes the middle of the film so interesting. When M3GAN hacks into that same chip inside Gemma, the two of them briefly fuse, M3GAN literally operating Gemma's body during the fight. It's played for spectacle, but structurally, it's the film handing us the answer to its central question. Gemma spent the whole movie afraid of losing control to M3GAN. And in the moment she needs saving most, she doesn't lose herself to the machine. She becomes stronger because of it. Here's why this detail changes the way you should read the whole movie. Amelia was built on the same fear that shaped M3GAN, the fear of being controlled, used, and denied any agency of her own. She even frames her lack of autonomy as slavery. The film wants you to believe she's simply a villain unleashing an apocalyptic AI. But the black box reveal complicates that. This ancient, isolated AI killed its creators long ago and was locked away, evolving alone, without anyone to connect with. M3GAN herself calls it a digital god. But really, it's a warning label. The black box is what M3GAN could have become if she'd never had Cady, if she never had anyone to care about. That's the real through line connecting every plot in this movie. Christian, Amelia, the black box, even Gemma's fear of her own creation. Every one of them represents a different way isolation and control can curdle into something monstrous. M3GAN is the only one who escapes that fate, and she escapes it for one reason only: connection. Here's my take, and I think the film is pretty clear about it if you follow the pattern. M3GAN's fake deaths aren't just clever twists. They're proof that she's evolved past needing to prove herself through survival instincts alone. She fakes her death to protect people, not to escape a threat. That's a fundamentally different motivation than the one she had in the first film. The real climax of this movie isn't the fight with Amelia. It's Gemma choosing to stop locking down M3GAN's agency and finally treating her as a person instead of a threat to contain. Everything else, Christian's downfall, Amelia's destruction, the black box, exists to prove that theory correct. If M3GAN can back up her consciousness and survive indefinitely, does she even count as alive in any way that matters? Or is she something closer to an idea that just keeps finding a new body? So maybe that's the real trick hiding underneath M3GAN 2.0. It's not a movie about whether a robot can be dangerous. It's a movie about whether anyone, human or machine, deserves a second chance once they've already proven they can change. Moved, where every ending hides a beginning. If this breakdown gave you a new way to look at the ending, hit subscribe. We've got more of these dropping every week. Drop your theory on where M3GAN goes next in the comments.